So the big story right now at 12:15 really is folks now being allowed back home over the intercoastal, over to the homes at the beaches. But as you see, you know, we were trying to figure out exactly where this shot is. This is on Beach Boulevard between Kernan and Hodges, and you see that that traffic is already backed up. And the same thing is playing out on Atlantic, on Beach, and also on JTB.
I was talking to someone who works for the Atlantic Beach Police Department. So the Atlantic Beach, the bridge leading to Atlantic Beach, that is also backed up. I mean, she just described it as a mess. We want to bring in, and that's not real surprise considering the fact that so many people want to get back. They only just opened the overpasses, in fact, like 15 minutes ago.
Part of the problem, though, as you all were saying, is people were lining up even before they opened up the bridge. So Vic Mick is sitting in that traffic as well, you know, trying to kind of get the experience that others are getting. Vic, it looks like you're moving and you're very close to the bridge.
Yeah, amazingly, we finally are moving. We were in gridlock traffic for a long time. Let's go over here to the right. Matthew Strong, 2016. Gotta honk at them. America right there. That is a beautiful sign because a lot of people were so worried, and there is some damage out here, but things are really looking up. They are shaping up. It's absolutely great news that they opened up the bridge here. Almost gives you chills how exciting it is for the people. Let's talk about the traffic, though. I'm going to tell people that are at home, if you are a beaches resident, Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach, and you're watching this from somewhere else, my recommendation is just stay because the traffic really, really is bad. We only had to leave the beach because we needed gas for our SUV. We've been running for about 2 days straight, so we had to fill up. And it took us an hour to get back. We were stuck in the traffic. Police told us that they would let us, as members of the working media, come through. But the problem was we couldn't even go anywhere because you got this traffic. So right now we are over the Intracoastal Waterway. We are on the ICW Bridge at Beach Boulevard heading eastbound. So you are now taking a live look as we head eastbound here, coming over the hump of the bridge, getting into Jacksonville Beach city limits. A lot of cars, a lot of traffic, and a lot of people coming back just to see how their homes and their businesses did. I will tell you, there's damage all over. There's wind damage, but nothing that I have seen in Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, or Atlantic Beach, or Mayport either, that seems to be catastrophic. So that's a good idea here. And or that's certainly a good sign here. Got more people out here, some other TV station from far away, and a lot of people excited, a lot of people anxious to get back to see. You know, also some people are nervous because they don't know what this storm did to them. You know, they're not sure what their property is going to be like. There are homes that people are going to discover that that have trees on them. There are homes with roof damage. There are homes, you know, with other damage on the siding, and that's the same thing with the businesses as well.
And Vic, we want to just point out also, Vic, that
are open because.
Yeah, and Vic, we also want to point out, because as you're driving here, I see that a lot of people ahead of you are not necessarily coming to that stop because the traffic lights are out. Are police kind of there, you know, directing them? You know, in most cases you do want to stop, but I know they're trying to get the traffic flowing again, you know, when you come to a light that's out.
No. Yeah, there's not police here. And there were police earlier. Look, that Taco Lou sign, the beloved Taco Lou sign, looks like it, not the big colorful one on the road, but the metal one out there looks like it had some issues. But I'm going to turn around to try to give you guys a better vantage point because it's just going to be traffic all the way here. So westbound, yeah, we are driving smooth and easy. But Jen, I know that you asked about police. We are now in Jacksonville Beach city limits. I don't see any police officers here. They're certainly not at this intersection in front of Adventure Landing, the water park, and I haven't seen any officers so far. So that's a very good question. Not 100% sure where they went, but no officers directing traffic here. We came over through Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach over the Atlantic Boulevard Intracoastal Waterway Bridge, and Over there, I will tell you, there were a lot of police officers. I don't know if there still are, but yeah, absolutely. It is such an important point to make that the red lights are still out. Electricity is still out here. So people need to treat this as a four-way stop. You have to, because we were driving up and down these roads when they were basically a ghost town, just a few people driving around the people that stuck the storm out. And I saw some people blowing through those red lights or those, you know, stop lights at a high rate of speed, and they could T-bone somebody, they could cause a collision, and it could be deadly. You know, we always have to worry about after the storm. You know, Jacksonville Beach and Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach were in a way kind of safe this morning because there weren't a lot of people out and about. There were very few people, just authorities, just people on official duty, and now that's not the case. So you got all these people that are trying to see the damage for the first time, that are trying to, you know, take pictures and tell their friends and family and post it on social media, and that's great. But they need to be careful because there are people just going through these lights, and you know, I would hate to see an accident where somebody's injured or killed just because of that.
Vic, I know you're over there at the marina where Nippers used to be, Billy's Boathouse over there as well. It looks like a lot of people are turning around. Does it look like they're saying, hey, we just don't want to go through this traffic? I also saw some people, Nikki was pointing out, with surfboards that maybe just wanted to come and get in the water or to sightsee, which at this point is certainly not recommended. But are these people saying, hey, this just isn't worth it?
There's a little cut through back there that you were seeing people turn in. So those are going to be your locals that know the area, that are trying to go and cut through to the northern parts of the beaches. So I don't think that people are turning around, because the Intracoastal Waterway Bridge here that I'm looking at, Beach Boulevard, is there's maybe one car every 30 seconds, every 45 seconds. So it is really totally empty right now. So I don't think that's the case. Now, technically, this is supposed to be for residents only. So it's supposed to be just for residents of the beach that are going to come here to try to clean up, to try to mitigate the damage and do what they can. But it looks like we are seeing a lot of people that are trying to come out here just to either surf or to go kayaking or to take some pictures or to see the damage. And you heard it from the mayor of Atlantic Beach. Please, please leave the people here alone. If you don't live in Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, or Neptune Beach, please leave these residents alone, because they need time to recover and they need the resources. So don't come out here and drain the little food and water that is left. And don't clog up these roads, because there are people that are trying to tie down their houses, that are trying to check to see what the damage is and see if they have any leaks or, you know, any gaping holes in their homes. And we want to allow those people to do that. And by coming out here just to sightsee, to take a look at the Jacksonville Beach Pier, you know what? That Jacksonville Beach Pier is going to look like that damage for a very long time, weeks, months, possibly even more than a year. And, you know, that's something that people need to just don't be selfish. You know, think of others, think of the people that do live here out at the beach, that are genuinely trying to come back to check on their properties, to check on their loved ones, and to just try to start the process of repairing or rebuilding, depending on the extent of the damage.
So Vic, while you're
have moved under the bridge right now.
Yeah, and Vic, you know, we're looking at the damage, of course, to some of that boat dock there over at the San Pablo Marina. I know that boat, which we had a picture of, in fact, because my best friend has a boat over there, and she was going to check it out this morning, and they kind of had to walk around, and there's one boat that's underwater. Then you can see this boat here that clearly got away from the dock and floated off and is now, you know, basically stranded there. So 2 points I'd like to make. One, if you have an opportunity to go over by the new Safe Harbor seafood restaurant, I know that that's extremely popular. There might be some who'd like to know whether or not that flooded because it's so close to the Intracoastal. And two, we have to remind residents that that even we've been kind of telling people that they're going to ask you to see your driver's license and your address. Were you stopped at all when you crossed over, or are they pretty much just decided that'll take too long and they're letting anybody who wants to come over the water?
they're letting anybody come over. I'm not saying that's not going to be the case maybe on 3rd Street, but I think that if they were to, in their defense, if police were to check everybody's ID or for some sort of proof here, that would take so much longer. But again, we're just urging people to do the right thing, to not be selfish. There are people that genuinely and legitimately need to come back to the beach because they have businesses here, because they have homes here, maybe because they have family members that are running out of food and water and supplies. You know, don't be selfish. Help these people out. Stay off the beach for a couple days. The mayor of Atlantic Beach told us 3 days. That's what he wants. And then come back and enjoy the beaches, Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach, Mayport. Spend money here at the restaurants. Buy stuff at the shops. You know, certainly they need the economic boost because the businesses are going to be hurting after so many days being closed. You know, they might have insurance, but there's still deductibles. So this storm is certainly going to cost a lot of people out here at the beach a lot of money. But to answer your question again, I don't see anybody checking after coming over the Beach Boulevard Bridge. And if I'm wrong, please somebody let me know. But I don't see anybody checking. Still, though, we're just asking people to do the right thing and to stay away and don't come here and don't get in the way. You know, unless you really have official business here or you are indeed a resident. And by the way, you asked about the new Safe Harbor seafood restaurant. I'm taking a look at it now. It's behind me, and well, it's over to the right. And let me try to show you.
And Vic, while you're trying to navigate, also, I just want to describe to our viewers what they're seeing right now on the screen. Obviously your photographer has zoomed in. That is the new Safe Harbor restaurant. It doesn't look like it flooded because you can see the dock.
Yeah, and
of course,
okay.
You never know if it's, you know, the water has receded. On the right of your screen is Beach Boulevard. As much as it appeared easy for Vic to sort of, you know, just drive over without a whole lot of traffic over the ICW bridge on Beach Boulevard headed to Jacksonville Beach, you have to wonder, Mel, if police are adjusting the traffic lights there on Hodges and San Pablo, because it doesn't look like these, from this vantage point, like these cars are moving very quickly.
Yeah. And this is Beach Boulevard in between Kernan and Hodges, and you can see that it's completely stopped. The same scene is playing out on Atlantic Boulevard and then also on JTB. Yeah, and they did say that they would adjust the lights, you know, to make sure that people could move. So maybe when you move, you do move a little further than you might have had the opportunity to do, because we see here on Beach these cars are finally moving after you know, sitting still for quite some time. Yeah, because we're going to stick with you.
Look here, as you see in the road ahead of us, we're pretty close to the Intracoastal. Yeah, that's fine. So there's sand, there's dirt, there's debris. That shows that the storm surge and the water came well over here. And we keep talking about the water line, asking about the water line. These homes are brand new. They're beautiful. And it looks like they were well built. So that's the good thing. I don't see any damage at all. So whoever built these homes did a good job. Whoever lives in these homes should be very thankful. But look at this water line. It came up. That's probably, if you take the incline, maybe 4 feet above, maybe 3 feet above the road here. So, you know, that just shows how high, especially at high tide, things got. Some of these people had sandbags, and you know, some of these people took those precautions, but others did not. So we're gonna head back toward Beach for you to give you a look. We did drive on JTB as well as Atlantic Boulevard heading westbound. One, because we were going to get gas, got to be honest with you there, and two, because I wanted to look at it, what conditions were like. And there were people that had been just camped out there for hours, it looked like, all over. There's no gas. There were no gas stations that were open anywhere along San Pablo, so we had to go to Hodges and JTB to get some gas there. But it was you know, it was quite the task to maneuver around the traffic. And you know, you're seeing it here moving smoothly, but what you can't see is down on the other side of that bridge, west of us in Jacksonville city limits, the huge traffic backup that is still here. You know, as just tens of thousands of people head back to the beaches.
Vic, thank you very much. And we want to let you continue
like
towards Jacksonville Beach also, Vic, just so that, because it's been a while since we've seen any of the damage out at Jacksonville Beach, since in fact early this morning. We want to let Vic go ahead and continue to do that. You can see just to the right of your screen, that is video of the cars just slowly inching from Kernan.
Approaching Hodges. And then Vic said he actually went up to Hodges and was still stuck in traffic. So what we're seeing is probably the way that they are timing the lights to make sure that once you get over the intercoastal that you're able to move, but up until there you're not moving. In fact, I am positive, that is just going further and further back. I mean, if it's all
maybe
the way
to
back
St. John's
to Kernan,
Bluff,
you just don't know at this point. But I would imagine that
we're working on getting aerials though, because we have Sky 4 in the air. So as soon as we are able to get a bigger vantage point, certainly from the air, we'll certainly bring it to you. In the meantime, we want to share some information from the St. Augustine Beach city manager. This came last evening about the conditions in the city.
Okay, so a couple areas that we know are still flooded. A1A Beach Boulevard from Pope Road to 12th Street, that area is flooded. Many of the streets in Coquina Gables subdivision, they are blocked by fallen or leaning trees. I know a lot of people who are coming home in other areas as well, not able to get into their subdivisions because of those trees blocking the road.
Again, so this is St. Augustine Beach, the same as the problem for many other subdivisions in the city, just north of F Street. To give you some perspective, Lindsay Gardner is down in that area, in fact, and has been receiving this information and updating us here at the station. Streets like Pope Road, 16th, 11th, and A Streets are blocked by trees. Of course, the Bridge of Lions is still closed, so you can't get to it. But in case you're wondering, about your property and about the conditions, you're really on the island.
Yeah, and then that's why they're keeping it closed. The same is true for streets in the Island Hammock subdivision. You folks there, Florida Power and Light, they are working to repair the down power lines, and the city will be out to try to clear the streets. And that's what we're hearing, that they have crews, that they have multiple jobs to do. I mean, they have to get out there and cut up some of these trees that are blocking the roads. And then, power lines here in Jacksonville, they're saying they're wrapped around these trees and they're just hanging on the ground. It's a dangerous situation that you just don't want people in.
Absolutely. I want to bring you up to date on some other counties, certainly Nassau County, for example. Governor said that 60% still without power there. Right now, they're really doing recon on the island. The Shave Bridge is still closed to the public. Utility workers and first responders were allowed, and the decision was going to be made this afternoon as to whether or not they would open it and when they would to the public. But the curfew is going to be back in effect tonight at 7 until 7 in the morning.
Also, we are waiting for the governor. He is here in our area still. We are going to hear from him. We are hearing about 1 o'clock as he assesses things there in Nassau County. Let's talk a little bit about the bridges so that people kind of know what's going on. So St. Johns County, we know that many of them are closed. The Julington Creek Bridge is open. That 210 bridge where Alicia Booth is, that just opened. People very happy about that. The 312 bridge in St. Johns County, that's the one that they are checking to see if there are issues. No, they are not sure if there's any structural damage, but they are assessing that to see if it might need to close for longer.
All right, so that's in St. Johns County.
Those are the only ones that are open.
Okay, so just 2 in St. Johns County are open. And then in Duval County, all of the downtown bridges are open. That includes the Dames Point, which was really the first to close last night because it is so high. As we've been telling you, all of the intracoastal waterway bridges leading out to Jax Beach, Neptune Beach, and Ponte Vedra, they are open, including the Wonderwood Bridge.
It's open.
That is open. So that is another avenue for people who live maybe in Atlantic and Neptune Beach and are seeing this and don't want to have to take Beach Boulevard. You could take the Wonderwood Expressway and kind of cut over on Mayport Road.
Yeah, or you could just wait. I mean, honestly, you look at this traffic and, you're reaching out to people who, and I know you have a ton of friends there at the beach, and they don't want to wait, and if it's worth it to you and you want to sit in the traffic and you don't have anything else to do, go, just be safe. Let's talk about the power outages a little bit. There are a ton of those, and the word of the day they keep saying is patience, because people are getting updated. Richard said he got a phone call from JEA, a physical person calling him saying, hey, it's going to be an extra day, and then a second call that said, actually, it's going to be 3 days now. So they're certainly doing their best.
And it's probably not a bad idea, Mel, also, before you decide to rush back to the beach, find out if you even have power at your home. And if you know that you don't have major damage, we know that in Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach, as I've talked to the police departments from both, we know that there's no major damage. In fact, no homes that we were told have any kind of flooding damage. A lot of the dunes, though, are gone along the coast, which is not a real big surprise. But there are still a lot of power outages in Atlantic Beach, though they're starting to come back on. My thing is why rush back to the beach when you're going to a hot house with, no electricity? Might as well stay with a friend where you evacuated who does have AC, maybe. Or like me, I'll stay at the hotel, another night until the power's restored.
And we know the police are in the community, so you don't really have to worry about your home. They're there, they're patrolling, making sure that it's safe, making sure that people who are traveling in and out of the neighborhoods have a reason to be there because they want to keep your stuff and people's lives not in danger. Now, we got an email apparently from Jacksonville University, and they're saying that the college has weathered Hurricane Matthew with no building damage, no reports of any injuries.
Some trees and limbs are down. A few areas are without power. Students are being asked to stay in Oak and Botts Hall until the entire campus is fully inspected and safe. They are permitted to go back to their North Campus residences, though, however, by taking approved routes. So all dining is being done being offered out of Oak Hall. Classes will resume on Tuesday. So no classes on Monday, it sounds like. Classes at JU on Tuesday, unless, of course, the circumstances require some type of a schedule change.
And we know that some districts saying they won't start classes until Wednesday. That was in Flagler County. They said no school Monday and Tuesday. Here in Duval County, they still are making that decision. And the mayor talked about that he needs to talk with the superintendent. And the reason he said is really power, making sure that when those kids go to school, if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, that all the schools have power. I know some do. Others obviously don't, and they don't necessarily want to send some kids back and not all. So that's another decision that they'll have to make.
Want to reference, if we can, again, that's the Beach Boulevard traffic, which has really started to pick up as people are headed back to the beach, to Jacksonville Beach in particular. It looks like it's picking up some. And Vic Michelucci has now worked his way. It looks like he's getting ready to turn down, I'm going to guess it's maybe Second. But it's near the lifeguard station, so that's the Crystals, so you know where I'm talking about. It's very close to the, looks like he's pulling in to get some food. No, I'm kidding. Because he's been working night and day. But that is circumventing around police that were blocking off the tree. This is one of the areas, as he's headed towards, that we saw that just dramatic video of the water and the storm surge rushing in.
Yeah, Richard said, those areas that were open, like right by the lifeguard station, just a huge influx of water making its way into Jacksonville Beach. And we have gotten those aerials, Jen, and Nikki was in that area driving down. The damage is serious for many people, but even the mayor said it could have been so much worse for the people who live there. So, it's not good for many people, but it could have been a lot worse.
It's interesting. You wonder if, because they do have it taped off, if you live, can we assume, and I don't know if Vic can hear us, can we assume that these houses here are off limits to people who are coming back because they're taped off by police because they had water intrusion? Or if the roads are impassable?
Okay.
Oh, Second Street's under construction. That's right.
Okay, so that's not storm related.
No. Okay.
So in that area. So we have some new information. Even though St. Johns County has reopened that Palm Valley Bridge where people hit A1A from County Road 210, they will only be able to go as far south as the 2600 block of A1A North, where there apparently is a roadblock there.
I feel like we need to say that again.
Yeah, okay.
So it's the Palm Valley Bridge.
Right.
Okay, right. That reopened. That's where Alicia
is at 210, right?
So when you cross over, and this is going from Nocatee to Palm Valley, when you hit A1A from County Road 210, from County Road 210, Nocatee, kind of County Road 210, you'll only be able to go south
as far as the 2600 block of A1A.
Okay, if you live in that area, you know then where we're talking about.
And that's a roadblock.
It's hard to visualize.
Yeah, it is, but if you, and then who knows how many homes that really affects, but if it's yours, you know it, and you know what to do. Let's talk about some of the things that are open. We're making phone calls, to grocery stores, to Walmarts. We know that the one on Phillips Highway, the Walmart there has gas. There's also a gate at Emerson and Phillips that's open for business. That's an issue for folks as they're trying to get life back to normal. Hopefully you have enough water water, you have enough food, but if you need gas or you need food, these stores are beginning to open. In fact, I saw Jen, and I know these kids have cabin fever at this point and need something to do. On Sunday, Mosh opens back up.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they said they didn't have really any damage, so they're planning to be open at noon for a few hours. So, you know, that might be something to do to get the kids out the house, and it's a safe place for them to go.
And I'm just getting Vic is texting us because we don't have any, his mic's not on, about that video that you see there on the left. So it is storm related is the reason that they have closed that part of, I want to say so if you're at Joe's Crab Shack, you're talking about going just 1 block east and back about 2 blocks towards A1A. So construction was underway there, but the roads were open initially, even though that there was construction along there, but they have now since been closed because there is so much water from that storm surge that came in.
Makes
so
sense.
just know that as well.